Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. For those of you who don't know, we're here at Archangel Fabrication, and in today's video we're going to be working on the EG Civic hatchback, and it's very clean. Here it is behind me. We'll get closer to it then and check out what we're going to do to it. Let's go check it out. Man, this thing is super clean. Don't even see a dent on it. Love the wheels, full interior, and under the hood is a single jingle, bringing back the single cam. So what we have in store for this thing is a catch can setup that's going to go where the factory battery would sit. So we're going to be doing bungs off his freshly painted valve cover onto the catch can. He's also getting a radiator support bar. So it's going to clear up a lot of room. Basically all the blue you see here is going to be gone. It's just going to be a bar. And also a new radiator and coolant overflow. As you guys can see, he has the factory ones. So once we install the bar, we're going to see how much room we have to work with and then start building the radiator, which there's the core for that. We're going to try to tuck it in and run some AN lines to the thermostat housing and also to the swirl pot that we also have to build. So for today, I think we're going to start with the catch can, because right now we're waiting for a traction bar to come in. Once he has that, we can remove the upper and lower radiator support, because the traction bar will act as a support on the bottom, and then our bar that we build will be the support for the top. Yeah, Bree has been a good friend of mine for many years, and he actually introduced me to these Hondas. I also had a single cam turbo as my first one, so it's nice being able to work on his own build. I'll put his Instagram below. Here's what the swirl pot looks like, fitted up. And I also ran these AN lines to the catch can. Just got to run the other two there to the back of the block. I'm waiting on some adapter fittings for the back there. Still waiting on the traction bar to come in, that way I can tear all of this out. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and build the radiator for it. So here's our core, and we'll be using some 16 AN fittings. So the customer brought me a brand new full race traction bar that he wants to use. Have it mounted up, but now that we have this traction bar, we can get rid of this lower radiator support as well as the upper, because we'll be using our tubular rad support, and then we'll see how it looks. Here's what it looks like with the radiator support installed. Just use your factory bolt, one on each side here. And then these are for the headlights, obviously. These will be for the bumper. So just gonna mount the headlights back on and start mounting up the intercooler and the radiator. So I went ahead and bolted on the bumper. Our rad bars use these two factory bolts here. And then these are for brackets to the intercooler, which we are actually going to be building one for Bree now. That wasn't the original plan, but he decided to go with one. So I ordered the core from Vibrant Performance. This one is a 550 horse. And here's part of the end tanks that I'm working on. Going to be building them and welding them out. So here's a time lapse on that. Now that the end tanks are welded out, now I drilled my holes. This is going to be the exit, 3-inch, and the turbo is going to enter through here, 2.5-inch for the turbo side. Just going to weld it to the core now, and then mount it onto the car. Alright you guys, so we got the intercooler mounted up and all welded out. As you can see, there's the 3-inch outlet, and then there'll be a back door to the turbo on this side. Mounted it off our rad bar mounts, one on each side there and one on the bottom. But I used 3/16 metal, pretty thick, and had a nice little gusset here to reinforce it. So it really isn't going anywhere. And any flex will be on the couplers, on the pipe that we'll be building next. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and install some hood pins somewhere in the front here. There's enough room there, and we'll be using these hood pins. They are D1 generation hood pins, carbon with the keyway there. A little safer than having just regular hood pins, because anybody can just, you know, come by, pop them up, and you don't want any of that to happen. So as you can see, the hood pins are installed now. Just 6 bolts along the edges and lock nuts on the back side. So now that they're in, I also obviously installed the hood pins onto the rad support bar, and they are welded on with these tabs that we provide. That's how it looks. And they have a keyway here. That way you can lock the hood, you know, just for extra safety. So that's that. So I went ahead and mounted the fan that got here yesterday, made a shroud for it. So it came out pretty good. And I even plumbed up this top 16 AN line. Waiting on one more fitting. I got another 45 here. So just waiting on one fitting to do that lower rad hose. But this is how we mounted the rad. One mount there and here. Similar to OEM style where it just falls through the hole with the rubber grommet there. And intercooler supported there. So everything is steady. Another mount here for it so it's nice and steady. Customer just brought me the skunk 2 intake manifold. That's what I was waiting on for the piping, since the throttle body is in a different location than the factory, as you can see here. So we're gonna work on the piping today, get it all welded out, put his blow-off valve on there, and use the vibrant couplers, silicone. Gonna do 3" on this side and 2.5 for the back door to the turbo there. So I got the passenger side piping all mocked up. As you can see, it comes up and around the frame rail to the throttle body. I'm using 3" couplers, and it turned out pretty good. Just tacked up for now. I did run a bead here, but just tacked up for mock-up, no clamps or nothing. And then I do have to weld the blow-off valve somewhere, maybe do it right here, or maybe right here, not sure yet. And then I do have to do the turbo side yet. It's right here with a cast 90 from Vibrant, and we welding it something like this, be at a slight angle, 2", and then it'll be to 2.5" to the back of the cooler. So we'll work on that next. Everything finished up. The lower rad hose here to the back. Got the charge pipes welded all around. I added a mount here for the little bracket to hold the muffler in place, since there is a flex right here. So that'll work out nice and sturdy. And everything's nice sturdy. Put the tag on this side. So that's it, that's a wrap. Just needs coolant and ready to go. I also added these quick latch buttons for the front end. Just these two and the bumper tabs holding the bumper, as you can see here. Here's how it all looks with the bumper on. Looks pretty clean. One button on each side. The exhaust there, nice centered up. The fab. Yep. Close the hood. Simple as that. Ready to go.
Oh boy, Danny's would get better gas mileage. It would. It would, but this would look nicer. You crazy. My shit get good gas mileage. Just let my wife drive it. I fill it up. I could tow 2 or 3 times and it lasts me 2 weeks. I fill it up. She drive it a week and it's out of gas.
Gee.
Oh, damn.
She be in it.
Gee.
Bro, I gave it to